Hello, welcome to the Four Bells, where we are here in our arms and abs cycle, but in a leg day. We are doing workout from home number 64 today, where if you did our previous workout number 63, we had a glorious upper body day. And as a lot of people said to us when we started our new cycle was, are we still going to be doing legs? Of course we are doing legs. Here at the Four Bells we have a holistic and principled approach to strength development, which means we have three principles. Number one is strength development, second is mobility, third is conditioning. But under the principle of strength, we have 5 pillars: pushing, pulling, squatting, hinging, abs, and we always try to cycle through those 5 pillars. So you'll always see like a pushing day, followed by a squatting day, followed by a pulling day, followed by a hinging day, and we usually try to sneak abs into every single day, if that's possible. Today, we have got a focus on unilateral or single limb squatting today. We're going to look at pistols, but to get us ready for pistol squats today, we're going to do 3 things. We're going to start off with a plate squat. It says plate, but you don't necessarily need a plate. Any kind of object that's a little bit heavy will do, nothing too crazy. From there, as we've done our 5 plate squats, it's into 5 deck squats, where we're looking to roll backwards and gain stability in the bottom of our squat. And then from there, with a little bit of a heavier weight, we're going to do some goblet squats and reinforce squatting patterns. So we're going to do these 3 things 3 times in the warm-up. How should they look? Let's find out. With our warm-up today, 3 things: plate squats, deck squats, goblet squats, all the squats to get us ready today. With the plate squat, it says plate, and I'm holding a plate, but I don't necessarily need a plate. We just need something to act as a little bit of a counterbalance that's trying to help us, encourage us, get into a deeper squat position. So it could be a plate, it's nice and convenient, and the gym's good to hold on to, like a fitness steering wheel, but it also could be a light kettlebell, could be a rock, maybe a cat that is tolerant. Whatever it happens to be with our plate squat, what I'm trying to do, which is controversial, is kind of ignore my spinal position, not completely, but what I'm really focusing on is how low can I get in my squat. So I'm going to have my feet hip width, toes pointing straight forward. Normally we don't tell you how to move your toes and where they should be. You should work that out for yourself in your squat position. But for our plate squat, which is going to lead into our deck squat, we're going to have our feet about hip width, make sure the toes are pointing straight forwards. I'm going to press my plate away and come down to the bottom of this squat. So what I'm trying to do here with this plate, I'm using this counterweight to essentially pull me forwards a little bit and allow me to sit into a very deep squat position if you have issues getting into squat positions. So as I stand up, I pull my plate in, give the shoulders a little bit of a rest, push the plate away, and come down into that squat. From there, we're going to get into the deck squat. Now for the deck squat, we need to make sure we've got good ankle range of motion to be able to pop up into our squat when we roll back. Roll back, you say? Yes! It should look a bit like this. I'm going to use my plate at first. I squat, have my plate away from me, I tuck the chin, roll back, throw the plate, stick the landing, and then stand up. Again, notice how the feet look exactly as they did in my plate squat. Press away, tuck the chin, roll back, throw the plate, stick it, and then stand up. Of course, if you're a real ninja with deck squats, you can do it without a plate as well. From there, trying to reinforce our squatting patterns, we're going to do a goblet squat. So squat how you normally would. We're not going to enforce that train track position. I'm going to have my kettlebell close to my chest, or my dumbbell, or whatever it happens to be. And we're going to do 5 reps, trying to keep that torso as vertical as possible. So it's plate squats for 5, deck squats for 5, goblet squats for 5, all the squats, all the time, and that is the warm-up today. When it comes to our strength piece today, we are doing 5 sets. Each set is 3 minutes long, and within that 3-minute window, we have 2 90-second work periods. We're going to flip and flop back and forth between those 2. The first one we're doing is pistol squats of some variety. Of course, in a second, we're going to go over how to approach the pistol squat depending on where you are. The reason why I love the pistol squat so much is it is, in my opinion, the de facto demonstration of lower body balance, mobility, stability, and strength. Of course, just at body weight, but you need to have all of those things to be able to perform a pistol squat well. If one of those is missing, you are going to struggle. So we're going to be looking at a few different options of how you can approach it. When we're doing our pistol squats today as well, you're going to find that one leg is going to be a little bit weaker than the other, what we call our second strongest leg. We are going to do our second strongest leg first for 5 reps, then our strongest leg. That's what we're doing in our first 90 seconds. In our second 90 seconds, we're going to do some calf raises for half of that 90 seconds, 45. Now with the calf raise, if you've got a step at home or a box or anything you can hang your heel off, we are going to be performing some calf raises. Maybe they're a body weight, maybe you're going to add a weight to it. But the reason why we're doing the calf raise today is not only to strengthen the calf. If you've got strong calves, you have a nice balanced and healthy knee. A lot of people don't train their calves at all. But also, doing calf raises can help stretch and mobilize the ankle and get us into a better position for pistols, which is why we're combining those together. Let's look at how we can approach not only pistols, but also calf raises. When it comes to pistols today, what we're trying to think about is, first of all, what attributes do I need to get into a pistol squat? As we kind of mentioned earlier, I need good balance, I need good stability, I need good strength. Probably the most important is mobility. And as we define it here at the gym, mobility is how I control ranges of motion, or what ranges of motion I have to control whilst I'm performing my pistol squat. So for that means that if you have limited mobility in some part of your leg, most likely for most people it's the ankles, it's going to be difficult for you to get into a pistol squat. So you're going to have to play around with what works best for you. So for example, even if I'm doing a single-legged squat, what I'm trying to enforce is to still make it look like I'm squatting on 2 legs, even though I'm on 1. So what does that mean? That means that ideally, I want to have the heel down, I want to get that ankle closed, getting the shin forwards, I want to have the hip low, and I want to be able to keep the chest up. So that may mean, if you are lucky enough to be able to do a freestanding pistol, you can do it on the floor, you might be able to stand onto a box, and from there, maybe perform your pistol, getting into that position from there, perform a negative. You may find that standing and going down is too tough for you, so maybe going onto a box from here is more preferable. So basically being by a box or a bench, and then sitting back as you get into your pistol squat, controlling yourself down, and then trying to drive out of there. Another option if you're at home is maybe you've got rings, TRX, or even just a post to hold on to. Something where you can use your upper body to help you with that stability and get into those positions. So something that I like using a lot at home is obviously rings or TRX, but a simple door frame, or even if this was your door, holding onto a door handle can be very helpful when it comes to doing our pistol squats. So that may mean just holding on nice and tight to the handle on both sides of the door, getting my foot set up, and then coming down into my pistol squat and holding on to that door handle to make sure I can get there. What I'm trying to avoid in any of my pistol squat variations is making it look like it's not a squat. So when I squat normally, do I do it with a vertical shin falling backwards? No, I don't. I need to make sure that shin is forwards, weight is coming the whole way through the foot, and just use my hands to assist me if I need to adjust a little bit. So with our pistols today, whether I'm sitting back onto a box, standing on top of a box, holding onto a rings or a post, we're doing 5 on our second strongest leg first, and on our strongest leg second. Within the realm of functional fitness, calf raises are kind of a bit of a forgotten thing. But it's something we should always remember is when we're trying to have healthy legs, it's not about just doing certain patterns, things like squatting and lunging and hinging, but also trying to address all the joints of the body. So calf raising, and even thing like toe raising, training the tibialis, the shin, is very important indeed if we want to have healthy legs. We're using the calf raise today as a little twofer. We're using it, 1, to try and increase a little bit of range of motion in the ankle, and 2 is trying to add some muscular endurance to the calves themselves. Now the calves themselves, very similar to the elbow flexors, the biceps, are very good at muscular endurance, but we've got to make sure that we're set up to do them correctly. If we are lucky at home and wherever I'm training is near a step, so maybe I'm near my stairs in my house, somewhere like that, that's probably the ideal place to do calf raises. You've just got to make sure that you've got something to gently hold on to so that you're not going to fall over. So when I'm doing my calf raises, we're going to do them with both feet together today, so feet will be pretty close together, and as you can see with the plates we've got here in the gym, I just want to be on the ball of my foot. So that way when I'm coming down, I have a stretch as much as possible at the bottom, and then come all the way up into the tip toe and try and contract the calf as hard as possible. With the hand that I'm holding onto something with, This is not me doing a chin-up at the same time as a calf raise. I'm trying to make sure this guy's just lightly assisting me as I go through my calf raises. If it's really easy doing these for you, I recommend holding onto a dumbbell or a kettlebell, add some more weight to your calf raises. If you don't have a step available to you, maybe you're training in an apartment, I recommend using a towel. So we've got this old manky, gross towel that we found in the gym, and we have rolled it up pretty tight, so it's pretty dense. I would say if you can, a large bathroom towel is probably better than this as well, so we've got a little bit more height on it if possible. All I'm going to do is set myself up, put my feet, ball of my feet on this towel, and again I'm using that arm to assist me, drop the heels down, and then come up onto the toes as much as possible. Is a towel ideal? No, it's going to wiggle around and kind of squish a little bit over time, but it's better than nothing. Try and get something for your ball of your foot just to hang off if we can, and try and get as much stretch and as much contraction out of the calf in that 45-second window. With our conditioning piece today, we are doing a 12-minute AMRAP, where AMRAP stands for as many rounds as possible. In each round, we have 6 exercises with a descending rep scheme as we go. So how does each round look? In each round, I'm going to start off with 20 squat thrusts. From there, I'm going to do a 20 count flutter kick. From there, we are doing 15 thrusters. From there, 15 V-ups, or maybe tuck V-ups if the V-up is very tough for you. From there, 10 jumping squats, and from there, 10 weighted sit-ups. So it's legs and abs. Abs and legs, legs, abs, legs, abs, legs, back, back, back. Down the reps we go, and we're going to go round and round these 6 exercises for as many times as possible in 12 minutes. There's a lot of volume, there's a lot of reps here today, so this is going to light you up real quick. It's meant to be a spicy leg day. Let's look at how all of these exercises should be done. The first exercise in our 12-minute AMRAP is a squat thrust. Some people call it the athletic burpee. That was a phrase that was thrown around a couple of weeks ago. Essentially, it's a burpee without the push-up. So if you know anything about how I feel about burpees, I don't mind them, but what I do mind is the kind of wormy nature that can happen when people get into sloppy push-up positions. It means you can potentially injure your shoulder, potentially injure your low back. We don't like that. So with our squat thrust, it's a burpee without a push-up. Very simple. All I'm going to do is get into a squat position. Hands down, feet out, feet in, stand up. That's it. Hands down, feet out, feet in, stand up. We're going to do 20 of those before we get into 20 flutter kicks is our next exercise. A mat underneath you is kind of nice, or something soft to protect the low back. All I'm going to do is take my hands, tuck them underneath my bum. I'm going to have the legs at about 41, leg about 45 degrees, one leg off the floor. And all we're going to do is point the toes, and it's like we're swimming. And all I'm going to do is count back from 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. You get the idea, all the way down to 1. Thrusters are next. This is the only exercise in the conditioning piece that you need equipment for. So a pair of dumbbells, maybe an empty barbell if you can keep a good postural position in your squat, maybe a sandbag. Either way, we're going to do 15 thrusters. Weight rests on the shoulders, keeping the chest up. I'm going to descend into my squat using my leg drive. I drive the weight off the shoulder, lock them out, come back down to the shoulder, and we squat again. Squat, drive, back to the shoulder, and we're doing 15 thrusters. With the V-up or the tuck V-up, all we are trying to do is take ourselves apart, fold ourselves into a little V shape of some kind, fold ourselves up like an accordion, and then come apart again. So that means if you can do a full V-up, all I'm trying to do is keep the legs as straight as possible, and I'm going to come up onto my bum, touch the toes, and come back down again. For some people, as you can see with me, if my hamstrings are a little bit tight, it's going to bend the knee. Not the end of the world, but we're trying to keep the legs as straight as possible. With a tuck V-up, a little bit easier, I don't have to reach as far. All I'm going to do is bend the knees and bring those knees into the chest as I perform my tuck V-up. So whether it's a V-up or a tuck V-up, 15 reps is the aim of the game. 10 jumping squats is the last of our leg exercises before we get into the next round. If you've noticed, it's kind of legs out, legs abs. With jumping squat, can I do it without losing position in the bottom of the squat? As we know, the jumping part is the easy part. can I land and decelerate and make things look sexy? So I'm going to squat first, chest high, squat as low as possible, jump as high as possible, and can I receive that squat without things looking weird at the bottom? Ideally, we're keeping a nice postural position, and of course, if jumping squats don't work well for you, just a body weight squat is perfectly fine. Weighted sit-ups, I need a weight, so I'm going to use this dumbbell here. All I'm thinking when I'm doing my weighted sit-up is I'm not throwing the weight forwards as I sit up. I'm trying to take the weight and I'm trying to punch it up to the ceiling. So as you can see, my fingers are pointing to the ceiling. I'm trying to stay reaching up to the ceiling as I perform my weighted sit-ups. But if you find the weighted sit-up is a little bit too much for you, just a regular sit-up works perfectly fine. Cross the arms, sit up, bring the elbows to the knees, and we can just do 10 regular sit-ups. So that is how our 12-minute AMRAP goes today. We have got 20, squat thrust to do, a 20 count flutter kick, from there 15 thrusters, from there 15 V-ups or tuck V-ups. From there, we are doing 10 squat jumps, and from there, it is 10 weighted sit-ups. We're gonna go through those 6 exercises as many times as possible in 12 minutes. Have fun, let us know how you get on.